Well, all right, Gretchen, here we are. It's our December God and the Family.
Yeah.
We're going to be going through a few little specials, if you would, before we're kicking to a series in 2026. Can you believe
Yeah,
it?
I can't.
I
It's
know.
gone
It's
so
crazy.
fast.
Yeah, it's moving by. We're Greg and Gretchen DeVries. If you haven't been with us before, this is God and the Family. Gretchen and I have going on 36 years together this coming June.
June.
And are blessed with 12 beautiful children, 8 in-loves, and 21 grandchildren and 2 on the way. I had to text you the other day. I just got in just a few minutes ago, just flew in, but I was out at a ministry there and talking about that. And for some reason, I'd already jumped to the 23.
Yeah.
And I was thinking 23, but we're happy to be with you right now. We're going to talk some little Christmas stories, Christmas favorites. What you have a title for it? What would you say?
I do. These are a few of my favorite things. So, yes,
there you
we
go.
know the song comes from the movie The Sound of Music, which we love, but they actually a few years ago started putting that on the radio at Christmas. And I think because it has brown paper packages tied up with strings. So, so
now,
these are a few
I know
of my
that
favorite
song.
things.
I know that song, not as much because of the movie. I've seen it live. You and I saw it live one time together in Pennsylvania. It was a great dinner show. But I see it live, and my grandchildren, my daughters, I mean, my family has redone scenes of this movie my whole life. So,
it was fun. Actually, the other night we got together for Thanksgiving, and when we get together, the grandchildren want to do a show. And so they decided, some of the little girls were together and they had on their dress up outfits, and they did the whole
good nights. Yeah.
So long, farewell. And right at the end, Ivy, she said, "The sun has gone to bed, and so must I." And she laid down. It was the cutest thing.
And Eliza carried her up.
Yeah, and then Eliza, her older sister, picked her up. It was sweet. Yeah.
So the next generation.
Yes.
So, well, Gretchen, why don't you introduce what we're going to do today and what we're going to go through?
Yeah, I actually just wrote down a couple of little things here to talk about our favorite things. We love the holidays. We love Christmas. And so one of the things I wanted to ask is the Christmas story. Obviously, every year you and I, we read back through the Christmas story and we try to find something different every year that the Lord reveals to us. And it's been amazing to hear what God brings out every year. But what's your favorite part of Christmas?
That actually, you bringing that up is one of my favorite parts of Christmas, because I guess maybe, I don't know how many years ago it was, and I started looking at that and I was like, I've never seen this. I've never recognized that in the story. Oh, that speaks in the story. Last year was visits, all the different visits, and Christmas time is a good time to visit, but not just to go somewhere and to be somewhere, but literally to visit and be with someone. So that's a big one to me. And going through those, we usually do a sermon series out of it. So some of my favorite things of Christmas story would be simply the visitation of Gabriel the angel to Mary and Mary's response. I mean, it burns inside of me. It just lives inside of me. Be it unto me according to your word.
Yeah.
You know, that's the message from heaven. So be it. Let's do it, you know, and makes you think of the Apostle Paul. That he's yes and amen. He's obedient to the heavenly vision. A lot of people don't have a heavenly vision.
Yeah.
And anything that comes to us, that's what angels were. They were messengers that came from heaven with a message from heaven to where man could not hear clearly himself, and presented that message to them. That's where it comes from. And so, that's my favorite part of the Christmas story.
I do love that too. When Mary literally says, "Be it unto me according to your word." And if we would live our lives that way, every one of us, when God speaks to us a word that we say, "Be it unto me according to your word," let's live it out. You see.
What if she said you're crazy? You know, what if she said, the old thing is, did I have pizza last night? I don't even think they had pizza then. But, people say that all the time, just joking off, because we have a hard time grasping such a supernatural invitation, instruction, and involvement.
Yeah.
Invitation, instruction, and involvement. That's a message in itself. But that's my favorite part. Go on. What's your favorite part of the Christmas story?
Well, it ties into that, of course, is that at the end of that encounter that Gabriel had with Mary, and he adds this in because I believe she needed to hear this. He said, "Oh, and by the way, your cousin Elizabeth is 6 months with child." And so it says she hurries and goes to the hill country and visits Elizabeth. But lo and behold, when she comes in the room and gives the greeting, that Elizabeth that John the Baptist leaps in her womb and Elizabeth's filled with the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And then we find out through prophecy later, it says that John the Baptist would be filled with the Spirit from birth, from the mother's womb. And so it's just, that's my favorite part of the story.
Good. I can see that. You got a little understanding of pregnancy.
I do.
I think I met somebody one time in our life, and you remember this. I leaned over to a dear friend of mine. I won't say his name, won't incriminate him if somebody doesn't get this, but I said, I think that guy got filled with the Spirit or touched the Spirit while he's in his mother's womb. It's scriptural.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yes.
And it didn't set it aside like this could not happen. Jesus is the only begotten Son. Can't change that. But I believe this guy. And we shared it with the guy, and he wept. I mean, just wept. You remember that experience here. So great story. What's the next one, Gretchen?
All right. The next one is your favorite Christmas carol. I love songs, and you're not as much into music as I am, but
I'm not, but music is in me.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'll wake up in the morning with a song in my heart, and there's just different times when it comes Christmas time. Go tell it on. I mean, that evangelism starts to stir inside of me. But go tell it on the mountain.
That's good.
And over the hills and everywhere that Jesus Christ is born. That's mine.
I would have a hard time choosing, to be honest.
I know you would, but you have to.
Okay, well, then I'm going to choose. Today, I'm going to choose "O Holy Night," and because of the second verse.
Okay.
Because years later, after the first verse was written, there was a guy that had a heart for America, and he wrote, because he was an abolitionist, and he wanted to abolish slavery, and he wrote, "Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother." And so that, to me, is a powerful verse in that
didn't
song.
get sung much.
No. And so when it does, and that part, I'm like, that is so powerful, because that's number one.
Say that again. Do you know the whole verse?
Chains shall he break.
Let them hear it. Yeah.
Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, just amazing.
We got a preacher in the room here with his head shaking right now. Keenan's like, feeling that.
Seriously, so I'd have to say, that second verse really gets me there. So,
I got you. Yeah. Wow. A few of our favorite things.
Yeah, I know. It's so fun.
Man, I wish we could hear yours right now. I don't know if there's a way for them to post one in there or whatever.
They can maybe comment. Okay. All right. A little lighter. What's your favorite Christmas food?
My favorite Christmas food. Well, is peppermint bark a food?
Yeah, sure,
okay.
Absolutely.
Right. Just want to make sure it's in the food groups there.
There's
a little dairy in there. But I would have to say just the Christmas dinner itself. And I know we do the same thing in Thanksgiving there, and it's traditional. But the turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, gravy, the smell of stuffing, or
the smell of it for you, because you don't eat it.
Yeah, the smell of it, and just the joy that you get being around it, and cranberries and all that. I love that. I love the whole meal.
Yeah, it's true. I know you do. For me, my favorite food has to be attached to a favorite memory, of course. Okay. So I do have a lot of different favorite foods, but I think one of them for Christmas for me is because it was something that my mom made growing up, and it is called peanut butter chews. And they're made with peanut butter, Karo syrup, butter, and cornflakes. Your favorite Christmas memory?
Favorite Christmas memory? I would have to say, because it's shared something inside of me. We lived in Naples, Florida, and it took a lot to kind of make Christmas feel like Christmas, down south there. But we had some neighbors move in to the house next door to us, an elderly couple, and the Wingers were their name, and he was disabled. He had a stroke and limped, on one side of his body, and she cared for him. They didn't live there long, but they were there during Christmas season. And we would always go to church, Christmas Eve service, and we came home, and my mom always found a way to, not always, but quite often found a way to get somebody into our house, whether somebody didn't have something on Christmas Eve, but she said, let's go over and invite the Wingers over. We didn't know them really well, and went over, and it's like, it's just their countenance changed. Tears came in their eyes. They were so excited, and you would think they'd say no because of the inconvenience, but no way. It was like, we're coming. And they went in, got their clothes on, got dressed up, and came over.
So fun.
Yeah, that's a great memory.
I love that. That is a great memory. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I would have to say one of my favorite memories was at my grandmother's house. My dad's parents, and so my grandmother, she had 10 children, but 3 had died at infancy, so there were 7. So it was a large family. And at this point, I think you and I might have been engaged, and we didn't know that God would give us 12 children and, just have a huge family. I didn't really, at that point, even think about, how many children do we want to have? What do we want our family to look like? I just wanted to marry you. That was my goal. So, but I was watching my grandmother. They brought her over. She was getting a little bit older, and they sat her down. One son, she had 5 sons, and one son set her down and said, "I'll be back. Mom, I'm getting your plate." And so he went and got her plate and sat it down. And then another son came up and said, "Mom, your coffee. Here's your coffee now. It's hot," And then another one was helping her open her cards and had them there for her to open. And I was just looking and I was thinking, and what a legacy, what a heritage to have this many children love you at that age. Again, not having any idea that we would get to live that and experience that ourselves. So that was a really special memory.
Special. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, a few of our special things, favorite things. I don't know when we started, but...
Yeah, we didn't put our clock out. But just a couple more questions. I do want to say the most unique Christmas, maybe that you remember, something that was unique about it that was different than any other Christmas you had.
That's simple. Just the other day I was asked this question. I was with some people, and I immediately go back to Outreach Ministries of Alabama. It was 1988, and I had a pass as a Christian discipleship program coming off of drugs and alcohol, and I had a pass set up, and it was going to be for Christmas. I'd never ever spent Christmas without my family, with my mom and dad and my brothers, my sister, and so I lost that pass. I did something, I broke a rule, lost the pass. And that was my punishment, was to delay my pass for a month, which caused me to have to spend Christmas. It's probably one of the best things. It's probably one of the most unspiritual, per se, things that happened in my life that pierced me, convicted me, gave me a new perspective. It was having Christmas with all the students out there. And one of our staff members who discipled you and I, Phil Smith, he went out and he bought everybody a pair of socks. And that's what I got for Christmas that year, is a pair of socks. And knowing his wages were like $50 a week or something like that. And so that impacted my life. It was a very humble, it was all really Christian oriented in the midst of there. And there's a family that came out and fixed us dinner from a church that we would attend, and a husband and wife and their 2 children, and they laid down their Christmas day to fix us dinner.
Wow. So
you start seeing sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you start seeing the gift. People really with the value of a gift there. So that's strongest
so
impact in my
special.
life. Yeah.
So special. Yeah. I'd have to say one of the most unique Christmases we had was we decided we were a smaller church, and we thought, you know what, let's just go visit everybody that we can in church. And we knew mostly where everybody lived, kind of in the community. So we start gathering up.
We meaning you and I.
Yeah, you and I. Yeah. And we start gathering up everything in the house, things I'd baked, cookies or a little loaf of bread. I even had
a few regifts.
There was probably some regifting going on. I'm pretty sure there was. But we would, get them, and we get in the car, and we might have had 1 or 2 children. I don't remember.
Yeah, we had a few.
In the car seats, I think.
Yep.
And we drive around in the community, and we knock on the door, surprise them, Merry Christmas, and just gave them a little, maybe, a few cookies or whatever. Some of them invited us in. Some, we didn't want to intrude. No, they did. No, we didn't want to intrude on them. But it was just so sweet, I think, just to do something like that.
It was.
Just to go
It was a God
around.
thing.
It was.
We didn't do it again, try to remake that,
No,
but
it was just that one time we did it, you know?
It was.
So
and we also had times that every Christmas we do something, it seems like. And
we're going to get into that, hopefully, the next
okay. All right.
next session about different things. Yeah.
So, well, we're coming down to a wrap on this one here, and it's always a delight to be able to have time with you guys, and because it shows us that you're concerned about family too, and that's something that's in your heart. And I tell you, Gretchen, anywhere I go, it's what they want to talk about. It's just what they want to hear about, and they want to ask questions in the midst of it. And we have our own fights and challenges and just doing life, but we have the same passion, same desire for a healthy family. I was reading in Acts today, and it said that we always talk about Philip having 4 daughters that prophesied.
Yeah,
said there's four virgin daughters who prophesied. And I sent out to our church plant pastors, and I said, "Hey guys, just make sure you're raising virgins that can prophesy." Right?
Amen.
I mean, that's the message for the day on that. But how about this? Gretchen and I have had this time. We could sit here and talk for hours. I love it when there's tears in your eyes for good things there. But how about you? Using something like this, and there's other ways to go about it, and just to get your family together and talk memories, because memories that aren't reminded could be lost.
That's true.
And build those and develop those. And because we find now, and maybe this is in the next episode too, coming up sometime, but some of our children are carrying out the same traditions that they grew up with, right?
They are. And I love to see that. I love to see the girls that are moms now. They'll tell me what they're doing, if they're doing a certain craft, or like one of the girls asked me a few weeks ago before Thanksgiving. They said, "I'm going to do a unit study with the children about Thanksgiving. Do you have any ideas?" I'm like, "Oh,
you do. Yeah.
I was always the unit study queen for the homeschool mom, but I just love to see them doing the same things and building their own traditions, because that's one thing I didn't ask was our favorite Christmas tradition, because we're big on that. But build memories, build traditions, build things that your family they long for, they wait for every year. It's like that's special. Instead of doing something all year long, wait and do it just that one time, so that it's something they look forward to.
My favorite Christmas tradition that we do that comes to my mind right now is not as fun as it used to be. Started off really fun, but it's a coffee cake on Christmas morning. And you make that. Now, all the children get their coffee cakes at Thanksgiving. You get them one, and even ones that need gluten-free or whatever. You're such a great mother that way. I love you, and I really appreciate that. But I would sit at the table and eat as slow as possible. And then get a second helping or whatever when the children are younger. And they're like, "We want to open presents." But I think that was that's one of my favorite traditions. So closing, I want you to share yours, and want to encourage you, get your family together and discuss some of your memories and your favorites that you have.
And I think I've shared this before, maybe on a previous episode when we did the holidays, but I would have to say that this is probably my favorite tradition that we do on Christmas night. After we have our dinner, your turkey and all of the things, we get together, and everyone who has sent us Christmas cards, whether it's individuals, ministries, families, we get those together.
Put our address on the bottom of this.
Send us a card. And we hand those out to the family, and we pray for every person. We take turns praying for every person that sends us a card. We bless that family. We bless that ministry. And so that is a special time.
It is, because you're special to us, and those that we have in our life are special to us. So I hope you have, if you don't see us again before Christmas, I think we have a few more episodes.
Yes, we do.
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a very happy family time together. God bless you.